Microsoft's planning something big for November. Here's what you need to know about GamesCom. What's up everybody, Brad here back again, and this week, just about everybody in the gaming industry is at Gamescom. And if you haven't been paying attention, there's a lot of good stuff and a lot of good videos out there from other channels diving into every single freaking game that has been announced, because there's a lot of good stuff coming out of it. But I kind of want to walk through some of the highlights, some of the things that Microsoft, Sony, and everybody else is talking about at a high level, things that just kind of jumped out at me. And let's just kick it off here, because Microsoft had a big presence. They had their Inside Xbox event, and yes, they talked about a lot of games, but I think the big thing that they didn't talk about is potentially the most fascinating. Microsoft is planning a really big event for November in London. And it's not just going to be another kind of like small little thing where they hype it up like, and granted, Gamescom wasn't small, but I believe this is going to be a more significant event, because they are saying that Phil Spencer is going to be there, Matt Booty and many others, which instantly ramps it up a notch about what to expect. And people are thinking, are they going to talk about Scarlet? Are they going to talk about xCloud? I think xCloud actually is probably a pretty good topic of conversation for that event, because we've already heard that around the October timeframe is when they're going to start trials. And hey, after it launches, it'd be great to have an event to start talking more about it, expanding features and all that good stuff. So we will keep an eye on that. Would they talk about Scarlet? It's not impossible that they would talk about Scarlet, but typically when Microsoft, speaking historically, nothing's could change. When they launch a new console like this, they will have a dedicated event prior to E3, specifically for announcing the hardware of the console. That is how they've done things traditionally, granted under different leadership, so things could change, but announcing it like full kit and caboodle a year before it is available does seem a little bit early. Personally, we will see. That is coming in November. Microsoft has got a lot planned for it. We'll see. The fact that Phil Spencer's going means that it's not just a trivial event, right? Because Phil I don't even think made it over to Gamescom. So you can expect good things. Other things Microsoft announced there. We've got the new Xbox Sport Blue and Night Ops Camo Special Edition wireless controllers, if that is what you've been waiting for. I mean, they're just controllers, but hey, if you couldn't find your perfect mix and match combo with the Design Lab, you can now go buy those. They are coming soon. Other things happening in the Microsoft world here out of Gamescom, and this kind of impacts PlayStation as well. We've got Xbox and PS4 crossplay coming to PUBG. Now, you gotta give some credit here to both Microsoft and Sony for allowing this, because again, they could have been whatever, but Microsoft has always been much more open than Sony. And so finally Sony appears to be getting on this bandwagon of people are better when they can game together. And so here you go, you've got PUBG crossplay coming, and so that's good news for everybody involved. Now, one of the biggest things that came out of this event or this conference to me was talking about Minecraft. Now, if you rolled back the wheel of time a little bit here, they said their super duper graphics pack, which I still like saying that, was canceled after many years in development. And then like 48 hours later, they come back and say, oh, here's Minecraft with ray tracing. Now, I speculated when they canceled the super duper graphics pack that they had these features already in the works, because we already know that the next gen Xbox console supports ray tracing, and a lot of the features that they probably were trying to build for the super duper graphics pack could be already accomplished without having to retexturize everything. And so here we go. They're coming out and announcing ray tracing support, which now means everybody who is playing Minecraft is going to be hitting up their parents for that 2080 Ti to get the best ray tracing performance. But candidly, it does look really good, and this clearly is the right path forward for Minecraft. Introduce it at the hardware level with ray tracing rather than trying to do it all software with this super duper graphics pack. And it looks neat. It looks good. I think this is going to be a solid update coming. The other big thing that was announced at Gamescom is Kerbal Space Engine. Kerbal, you can launch them all into space. They're actually building a second version of Kerbal Space, and I am very much excited about that game. Who doesn't love building rockets and all that good stuff? That sort of came out of nowhere, but it was pretty apparent that everyone was reaching the end of the abilities of the game engine itself, so they built a new game engine. Kerbal Space Program. I think, is it called Kerbal Space Program? I can not remember the official name. There is a version 2 in development, and it's coming in the near future. Very excited about that. Back in the Microsoft world. So there were some big Game Pass updates. Game Pass continues to be the best value you will ever find in gaming. It's going to be interesting to watch when Microsoft actually starts trying to monetize this at a more significant rate than $1 per month, or $1 to get into it, and 3 months, depending on how you're rolling things over. But anyways, August 19th, we've got Age of Empires Definitive Edition. That is both Xbox and PC. August 22nd, we've got Ape Out and Kingdom Come Deliverance. 27th, we've got Bard's Tale 4. And then August 30th, we've got Blair Witch, if you like getting spooked in the games. Still, Game Pass, I know everybody says it's like the best value in gaming, but anybody's yet to prove otherwise that it's not. I mean, it realistically is an incredible value if you're going to go down that path. So that's kind of the big Microsoft stuff. There was also a lot of Gears 5, by the way, which you can go watch all those trailers. There's the new Horde mode, there's some trailers and all that good stuff. And it's been hyped to death. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you how much I look forward to playing it, because I do. But again, go get Game Pass and you'll be able to get it on day one. There's a couple games that are coming early. I wonder if Gears is part of that, actually. It might be. You might be able to get it earlier with Game Pass, which is an interesting tactic, by the way. An interesting tactic that Microsoft is starting to use. It says, hey, for their first-party games, you're going to get to play them earlier on Game Pass. That is a very smart idea because, one, it doesn't cost them anything. Two, it gets people into their favorite thing, a gaming subscription service. And three, it adds more value to that. So there you go. Stadia was also there, Google's, game streaming service. And so they came out with a solid portfolio of games, right? They've talked about Bethesda's, they've got Doom Eternal, a bunch of different Dooms, Elder Scrolls, Wolfenstein, of course we know about Destiny 2, Cyberpunk, 2077 was a big drop there. And then there's also games like Super Hot, Borderlands 3, all that good stuff. So I'm not going to drill into every game because they're just games at the end of the day. I'm still a little dicey on the business model. I'm still trying to. That's what I was watching it for. And if you've watched this channel long enough, you know that I like games, but I like business models even more. And I'm still trying to figure out how Stadia is going to excel, not just compete. Because, well, we've talked about how they can just. It doesn't make sense to try to compete with local hardware with a streaming service. It doesn't. I will argue that for a very long time because they keep pitching things like no updates, no waiting, play anywhere, which is a great pitch. But they still haven't really ironed out, and I was hoping that they were going to do this here because it's getting close to launch for these guys. They haven't really shown off the latency and how they're solving this very clearly. And it'll be interesting to see. In full transparency, I have ordered the Stadia Founders Edition because I want to try it out. I want to try it out with Destiny and see how it plays, especially getting into that first-person shooter aspect and streaming it on 4K on that TV back there. Let's just go all in, whole hog, and try to understand the bandwidth requirements, and that's the only way you can do it. Plus the controller. You guys know how much I like talking about controllers, and I still love the design of the Xbox controller, and I really want to do a deep dive into their controller once I get my paws on it. So that will be interesting to watch. I still struggle with it, and for those who haven't heard, the reason being is that why would you play Destiny 2 streaming on your PC that has a high-end graphics card when you can just buy it and get better latency and get a better experience playing online? I will bite my tongue and I will happily eat my shoes and put it on my head or whatever if you get a better P2P experience in online multiplayer with Stadia than you do with traditional gaming apparatuses. Now, that would be a huge win for everybody, for Google, obviously, and for Microsoft, if they can prove that online gaming P2P is better with a streaming service as opposed to a traditional gaming setup and arrangement. Anyways, so that is all stuff. They're still targeting what it appears to be the hardcore gamer, which I think makes sense, although I think that's a tough battle to try to win people over. We'll see. We will see. We don't have to wait too much longer. We really, really don't. Other things that popped out, not necessarily directly related to Gamescom, but definitely related to gaming. Apple's game subscription service is reportedly going to cost $5 a month. And now, if you're not familiar with that, it's Apple's gaming streaming. Well, it's not streaming, but you can get a whole bunch of different games for $5 a month. And I'm assuming they're going to rotate things in and out. Probably similar to Game Pass, but as opposed to streaming, you're going to download them onto your iOS or maybe Mac, but definitely iOS devices. And so, yeah, that is some of the big stuff. So I was a little bit let down by Stadia Connect. I'm still, the back-end technology, they need to just give us some more bits. Give us a deep dive. Give us the technical aspects there, Google, because that is what we want. Microsoft, I think, had a pretty decent showing. I wasn't expecting any sort of like blockbuster announcements here. They kind of just hyped up things that are already in there. Oh, and the other thing that happened in the Sony camp is they bought, what was it, Insomniac Games? Yeah, and there was a lot of noise around that. It was in my show notes. How did I almost forget this? So they bought them, right? And everybody's coming out of the woodwork to say, oh, Microsoft's screwed because Sunset Overdrive 2, and like whatever. Everybody is buying studios up. They're snatching them up because they know that IP is what sells gaming services. And if you don't have IP, you don't have a gaming service. And so Sony, it's a good buy for Sony, right? I don't know how anybody's looking at this saying, Sony made a mistake here. So Sony did buy them, and good job to those people, and congratulations to the shareholders of that gaming company, because they probably just made some dinero as they're being absorbed into the Sony mothership. And so the battle goes on for gaming studios. Microsoft is shopping around, Sony shopping around. Would not be surprised to see Google shopping around. Also, EA has been snatching them up over the years, and so although EA has a tendency to, well, we know what happens when you get acquired by EA. So there you go, guys. That's some of the bigger news coming out of Gamescom this week. I'm excited to see what else is coming. Really excited to see what happens in November. And so there you go, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll catch you right back here next time.